All right, this video is to review you for your quiz 6-1, which covers 6.1 and 6.2. Question number 1 on the quiz today is actually going to cover synthetic division. So it's going to ask you to use synthetic division to find the quotient and remainder when you divide two polynomials. Now, remember the nice thing that Alex does for you with synthetic division is that it has it all set up for you right here, and you just have to go ahead and fill in these blanks. Now, anything that I put in the dark black color is what you are going to have to enter into the blanks. Anything else is just going to help you to remind you how to do it, and you can't actually put those those pen strokes into Alex. So the first thing you need to do is take this number right here, and you need to bring it down, and you just need to copy it into the box. Okay, so you're just going to put the 2 right there. Now, what you do need to keep in mind is that that 2 came from right here. It is your leading coefficient in your dividend, which is the one that goes underneath the division sign, the polynomial that goes underneath the division sign. That 2 is the coefficient. It's the number in front of the x. And what you need to know is that this 2 is x to the 4th power. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write that up on the top, x to the 4th power. And then it just goes down in order from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 to no x. Okay, so it's going to go 4, 3, 2, 1, no x. And if you look, you can see it right there. 3, 2, 1x, no x. Okay. You just need to keep that in mind because that's going to help you write your quotient answer. Okay. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start multiplying. We're going to multiply the number out here in the divisor times this number that we put down here. -4 times 2 equals, and we're going to put our answer right here. -4 times 2 equals -8. Oops, let me bring my pen back. There we go, -8. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add together the 9 at the top and this -8 that I put into Alex. So 9 plus -8 is 1. And now I'm just going to keep repeating that process. I'm going to keep multiplying by the divisor and I'm going to keep adding together. So I'm going to multiply -4 times 1. -4 times 1 equals, and I'm going to put my answer right here, -4. I'm going to take and add these two together. 1 plus -4 is -3. And I'm going to multiply again. -4 times -3. And I'm going to put my answer right here. -4 times -3 is positive 12. And I'm going to add these two together. -8 plus 12 is positive 4. And I'm going to multiply one more time because I have one more blank right here. -4 times positive 4 equals, and I'm going to put my answer right there, -16. And I'm going to go ahead and add these two together. 7 plus -16 is -9. Here is my answer. Now remember that very last number is your remainder. That very last number, the -9, is your remainder, and it will go in this box above your divisor. Okay. The first box is for your quotient. And remember, that's why we wrote the x to the 4th up there, because this one is going to be x to the 3rd, x squared, x, and this is just going to be my constant with no x. And of course, we already put the remainder right here. So here's our answer. 2x to the 3rd plus, you don't really need the 1, so we could just go ahead and put x squared minus 3x plus 4. And that's what I would put into Alex. All right, then you're going to see question number 2 where they are going to ask you to simplify. Remember, when you are simplifying or multiplying or dividing or adding or subtracting, you need to take the polynomials and you need to make sure that you factor them. Now, the numerator of this particular rational expression is already in a factor form. I'm just going to go ahead and put it into parentheses. So that means I'm going to take my denominator polynomial, and v squared is v times v. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it over here, v over v. And then I'm going to look at my c term, which is 9. It could be 1 times 9, or there we go, or 3 times 3. And I'm going to take a look at my c term to help me decide. My c term is -6, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick 3 and 3 because I know 3 plus 3 is 6. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 and 3. I'm going to go ahead and crisscross multiply, 3v, 3v. I'm going to add these two together. Now I want -6. I can make that -6 if they're both negative in my calculator. So -3 plus -3 would give me -6. So now I have factored the bottom. They are v minus 3 and v minus 3. Now I can go ahead and I can look at my numerator and see if my denominator has a match, and it does. So they are going to completely cancel each other out, and what I'm left with is my answer. So I have v minus 3, and since there's nothing left in the top, I'm going to put 1. All right, question number 3 is going to ask me to multiply. Remember, before you start multiplying, you need to factor. Before you start multiplying, you need to factor because you can cancel stuff out, and then you can go ahead and what's left is your answer. Okay, so 25x squared, 25x squared. Well, 25 is a perfect square, just like x squared is. It would be, I'm trying to figure out where I have some room. I think I could squeeze it right here. 5x and 5x. And 49 is a perfect square. It is 7 times 7. So if I crisscross multiply, I get 35x, 5 times 7, and 35x. If I add those two together and I make one of them positive and one of them negative, I get a 0x, which is exactly what I have right here in between my perfect squares. And so here are my two first factors for my first numerator. Let's go ahead and write them. Now, if you start picking up on the pattern of a difference of perfect squares, it is going to make your life a lot easier because you'll be able to see it right away. It always factors a difference of perfect squares into 1 plus and 1 minus, and then the two perfect squares are your two factors. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the denominator of that rational expression. I've got 3x squared, which I could think of as x times 3x, and then 14, let's see, I could think of it as 1 times 14, or I could think about it as 2 times 7. Something in my gut is telling me to use the 2 and the 7 because 2 plus 7 is 9, and 1 plus 14 is 15. 9 is a little bit closer to 1, which is my B term, 1, which is my B term, than 15. So I'm going to try these two first. And I'm going to put the 2 here because I have to multiply it by the 3. And 3 times 7 is 21, and that really scares me. So I'm going to try this. 3 times 2 is 6x, and x times 7 is 7x. I can make that 1x. I sure can. That would be 1x positive if this is minus and this is plus. There we go. I got my 1x. Perfect. Yay. I was a little nervous. There's my two factors. All right. And of course, nothing is really matching right here. I have it, it's close, but I do have those plus 7s in both my numerator and denominator, but one has a 5x and one has a 3x. So let's go ahead and look at the other two factors that are left. What I'm noticing is that the numerator here, the numerator of my second rational expression, they're both even. 4 and 8 are both even, so I can go ahead and take a 2. Now I might be able to take more than one 2, so I'm going to think about 4 as being 2 times 2 times x, and I'm going to think about 8 as being 2 times 2 times 2, right? 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So I'm going to think, what do they have in common? Well, a 2 and a 2, and a second 2 and a second 2. Here is my GCF. I can go ahead and take out 2 times 2, which is 4, and then what's left here with the first factor is just my x, minus, because that's what it had, and what's left here is the 2. There we go. And if I look at the denominator of that rational expression, 5 and 7 are not even. They are both odd. Um, and they happen to both be prime, which means 5 is just 5 times 1. So 5 is just 5 times 1, and 7 is just 7 times 1. So their only common factor is 1, and so there's nothing to factor out. So I'm going to leave it as 7 or 5x plus 7, and I'm just going to put it in parentheses. Now I can start to cancel out the stuff that is the same. Like I see this x plus 2 and this x plus 2. I see this 5x plus 7 and this 5x plus 7. Nothing else matches. Nothing else matches. I'm just going to double check. No, no. This is all that's left in the denominator, by the way. And then the only other thing is the 4, and it's not going to match here either. So here is my final answer. Let me go back to my final answer color. Now, in the numerator, the 4 is going to come first, and then the 5x minus 7, because the 4 should traditionally stand out front. And then in the bottom, you don't need the parentheses. I particularly like them, but they are not needed. And that would be our final answer. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at question number 4. Question number 4 is asking you to divide. Now remember that before you start to divide, you have to remember KFC. Keep the first fraction. Flip the second fraction. Change your division to multiplication. So don't forget KFC, keep, flip, change. So let's start with keep the first rational expression. Noticing right here that that's already factored. Yay! Flip the second one. Hey, look at that. That one's already factored too. Yay! And change it to multiplication. So we're just going to go ahead and multiply again. And as we've already noticed, we only have to factor this numerator and this denominator. And we might not have to factor that denominator. Yay, because they're not both even. All right, let's start right here. I'm going to go ahead and factor with my little factor trick. X, X and X. There we go. I don't know what's going on here, guys. 3 is 1 times 3. There we go. That's looking better. X times 1 is 1x. X times 3 is 3x. I think that I can add them together and make them be the negative 2x that I need by making this one positive and that one negative. Yep, it works. So my factors now are going to be, let's see if I can squeeze it in here, x plus 1 and x minus 3. And I already have this x minus 1 in the denominator. All right, I have x plus 3 in the numerator. And let's see, let's take a look. 3x squared, 3x minus 9, 3x minus 9. If you notice what their GCF is, great, but if you don't, think about it this way. Now I can see that they both have a 3, and there's my GCF that I'm going to factor out. The parts that are left are what they have in common. Okay? The parts that they have left are what's going to go inside my factor. So I'm going to put an X. I'm going to put minus because that's what they had. And then this one has a 3 right there. All right, now I can go ahead and I can start canceling any terms that are the same, like x minus 3 and x minus 3. Be very careful. That is a +1. That is a -1. Those cannot cancel. Those are completely different. A plus and a minus. Oh, I can't do that. This is not going to cancel with that. So that's our answer. We're actually done. This problem wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yay! X plus 1, go ahead and leave it in the parentheses. X plus 3, go ahead and leave it in the parentheses. There's absolutely no reason for you to multiply it out. 3 and comes first, and then the x minus 1. There's your final answer. All right, I'm going to go ahead and skip number 5, and I'm going to go to number 6 and 7, just because I figured they were a little bit tougher. So we're moving into a subtraction and an addition problem. Just remember that when you are adding or subtracting, you do need to check to make sure that your denominators are the same. And then just double check to make sure what it is that Alex is asking you to do. This one is asking me to subtract. So remember, I go ahead and I'm going to put down my denominator that I highlighted, but only once. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put down my first numerator minus my second numerator. Now be very careful. If this numerator had more than just a 7, you're going to want to remember to put it in parentheses, and then you're going to want to remember to distribute the negative. Okay, I don't have to worry about my problem because I only have a -7. What I do need to worry about is this going to be a factor of the polynomial in my denominator? Okay, because this is a factor if I put it in parentheses, and 14 is 2 times 7. So because of this 7 right here, I'm going to have to go ahead and factor the denominator. So y squared is going to be y times y. And remember, we already talked about 14 is going to be 2 times 7. I'm particularly trying 2 times 7 and not 1 times 14 because of the 7 in the numerator. Okay, that's why I want to focus on the 7. If this doesn't work, then I'm not going to worry about even factoring the denominator. So this would give me, let me move up. I didn't want you guys to see the good luck till we were done, but that's okay. There we go, 7y. Add them together. Can I get -9y? Yes, I can if they are both negative. So I did have to go ahead and factor. And I will have stuff that will cancel out. So I have y plus 7 in the numerator, and I'm going to put it in parentheses now. And in the bottom, or sorry, no, I don't have y plus 7. There we go. I have y minus 7 in the numerator, and I have y minus 2 and y minus 7 in the denominator. Since I have the y minus 7 in both the numerator and the denominator, yes, they are going to cancel each other out, leaving me with y minus 2 in the denominator and a 1 in the numerator. Remember, even if you cancel it completely out, there's still a 1 left in the numerator. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the add one really quick. Same thing. You want to make sure that the bottoms are exactly the same, that the denominators are exactly the same. And this time, it's asking us to add. So I'm going to go ahead and add my numerators. And remember, you don't have to worry about the distributing in the numerator with addition. So I can simply just do x squared minus 6x plus 8x minus 15. I want to go ahead now because I have 4 different terms in my numerator. I want to go ahead and combine our like terms. So I'm going to grab the pink because they're my B terms, and I can go ahead and add these two together. These are my 2 common terms. And so I'm going to go ahead and add those together, and I have x squared plus 2x minus 15 and x squared minus 7x plus 12. Now my focus right now is going to be on the 15 and the 12. If I can find a common factor between 15 and 12, I'm going to have to go ahead and factor. So 15 is 1 times 15, and it's 3 times 5. 12 is 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. There's my common factor, 3 and 3. If I can factor both the numerator and the denominator to use that 3 times 5 and 3 times 4, I could possibly have a like term, a like factor that will cancel out. Now, it could actually happen that we end up with a plus 3 and a minus 3, but let's go ahead and give it a try. We have to give it a try at this point. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to try for this one and this one. These are the 2 that we're trying for. All right, so let's take a look. Here we go. Oh, where do I have the space to do these? Okay, here's my numerator. Here's my numerator. Let's crisscross multiply. 3x, 5x. Can I add them together and make them be positive 2x? Yes, I can. Minus plus 2x. There it is. Minus plus. Okay, so far so good. Here is my numerator. Here is my numerator. X minus 3. And remember, the 3 is the one that we did this for. Let's see what we get in the denominator. All right, so my denominator is going to be x and x. And once again, we're trying 3 and 4 because if 3 and 4 don't work, we did this all for nothing. Oh, I hope it works, you guys. All right, we're going to add them together. Can we add them together and get negative 7x? Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. Negative and negative makes negative 7. And I see that I have the same x minus 3 in both the numerator and the denominator. So that means goodbye, goodbye. And here is my final answer, x plus 5 over x minus 4. I really hope this helps you guys. Good luck on your quiz, and we will see you next week.